surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now. Hey, start the show.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!
Ladies, gentlemen, and whoever else is listening to this, welcome to my newish series of what I'm going to do. This is the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, ICW related. That's right, it's going to be dedicated to the hottest promotion in the UK. Dare I say the hottest promotion in professional wrestling today, ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling. And yeah, it's going to be amazing, man. We're going to kick off this week with Barramania. Next week, I will bring the Nottingham show. The week after that will be Boom Shakalaka. And then the week after that will be the show where TNA's Bram makes his debut and joins the 55. More on that in due time, though. But we're going to start this week with Barramania. And Barramania took place March 29th. I believe it was, WrestleMania night. I saw it on the ICW On Demand. Make sure you get the ICW On Demand. £3.75 a month, okay, for great wrestling content. I'll tell you something. You can see Barramania, you can see the tour shows, you know, shows like in Nottingham, and you see TNA Brams making his debut. You can see Jack Jester making his surprising return to ICW. You can see Drew Galloway face Grado. You can see Drew Galloway teaming with Grado facing Jack Jester and Sabu. You can see Shug's House Party. Hope I said that right. As well, the very first annual. Second annual is in July. You could see Fear and Loathing, where Drew Galloway won the World Championship. All sorts of great wrestling content, only for £3.75 a month. Can't get better than that, can you? Also, just a few quick promotions. Title Wrestling, I believe it's Title Wrestling. They're bringing a show to Darlington in the coming month. I think it's next month, which features people like what I call him, Kenny Williams, Rampage Brown, Kid Fight's going to be there, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So be sure to check that out. It's coming in, I believe it's in middle of May. So you know, be sure to check that out. If you give me a minute right now, I will check it out. Yeah, it's featuring Rampage Brown, Kid Fight, Kenny Williams from ICW, two guys there from ICW, one from the 55. Yeah, Title Wrestling, at Title Wrestling on Twitter. Be sure to check that out. Title Wrestling Point Break 2015 features wrestlers like Rampage Brown, Kid Fight, Kenny Williams, Joe Henry will even be there, Violet O'Hara, AJ Anderson, who I saw at the Town Hall 2 days before WrestleMania. The Dragon, Liu King Sharp, who's also made an appearance in ICW as well. And the list goes on and on and on. It takes place Friday night, May 15th rather. Why did I say March 4? Friday night, May 15th. 7:30 door opens. Bell time 7:45. Bell time for all ages. £13 if DV, 40 family. I'm guessing ADV stands for advance. And it takes place at the Dolphin Centre House Market in Darlington, DL1. So be sure to get that across and get that out there and go and check it out if you're in the area. But anyway, moving on from that, it's time to go to the ICW review. Now, ICW kicked it off. The ICW Barramania kicked off with the GM. That's right, the GM himself. That's right, Mr. Red Lightning, and he comes out to a chorus of boos. And the power sense, he's got that from Mark Dallas, saying that it's definitely gone to his head. He comes out and says the fans should be thanking him for Barramania and Barramania being on there, and for what's going to be taking place as well. That Fear and Loathing, they also announced where Fear and Loathing's going to be as well. And the people say Red Lightning said the crowd should thank him for that. And instead of thanking him, the crowd were chanting, "Thank you, Dallas." So it's not a stupid crowd, if you know what I mean. The ICW Mafia ain't stupid. So power hungry, to say the least. And as soon as Dallas comes back, the better, to be honest. But hey, he's playing a great heel. Love him for it. The wrestling part of the show kicked off with the 55 against Kenny Williams, Noam Dar, Joe Henry, and Grado. Now, Dan, as the 55 members come down the ramp, Dar and Williams fly out of the ring onto the 55, and the brawl continues on the outside. You know, it just went all the way around the ring. Everybody was fighting one person, and it was just great to watch. The fight went back in the ring. Kid Fight hits an awesome DVD. 55 are in control. The beatdown isolating Kenny Williams. 55 showing basic tag team wrestling, keeping a fresh man on Kenny Williams. The crowd chant "You're a shit Danny Dyer" to Sha Samuels. I don't get that, but I can understand it. It's probably to do with the background in the London, but he looks now like Danny Dyer. But anyway, 55 slowing down Kenny Williams. Fight taunting Noam Dar. 55 in total control, dominating Kenny Williams. Kenny creates a little bit of space and tags in Grado. The fight back is on, and Grado goes Dusty Rose on Sha, so to speak, with the bionic elbows and the fists. Henry hits the Freak of Nature on Bram, then gets speared. All hell breaks loose. Bram is standing tall. Team ICW hit Bram to a point where Grado hits the wee boot, like a double team. Cover by Kennedy. The cover, but Kennedy pulls the ref out the ring. Match turns into an all-out brawl. Bram hits a suplex and gets a near fall. Henry hits Trip Around the World, gets a near fall. Then Bram whacks him with a chair and gets the win. After the match, all hell was breaking loose again, and Grado manages to get up and call out Bram for Shug's Hoose Party, which is, like I say, in July. And then the party begins. After that, the next match on the card was Mikey Whiplash versus Lewis Garvin. Some great chain wrestling, mat wrestling, also hold for hold, even match so far. Whiplash showing great wrestling style, Garvin showing it also. A wrestling clinic so far between the two. Feeling out wrestling clinic is over. Whiplash in control, hitting vicious uppercut and a torture rack airplane spin. Garvin hits a dive on Whiplash after jacking the jaw of Whiplash. A double stomp to the bank almost breaks Whiplash in half and gets a near fall by Garvin. Whiplash mounts a fight back until a drop kick by Garvin, and Garvin gets a near fall. Slingshot brainbuster near fall by Whiplash. Even match, two even wrestlers know each other really, really well, and you can tell. Whiplash hits a DVD. Another video message comes out, and however, someone is walking down the ringside. Garvin pins Whiplash after Whiplash takes blood in the face by the Mystery Man. Whiplash then takes a kick in the face, and the Mystery Man reveals himself to be BT Gunn, then puts a beat down on Whiplash, ties him to the ropes, and the torture begins, then puts a barbed wire crown on him. Basically Whiplash is left hanging on the ropes like he was Jesus Christ or something. So, will this feud ever end? Up next was a one-on-one contest between Stevie Boy and Mark Coffey. Stevie Boy being from the Bucky Boys and Mark Coffey being from Polo Promotions. Mark showing he has the power advantage, hip toss on Stevie Boy. Just throwing them around the ring like a rag doll. Stevie is quicker of the two, hitting 3 back heel kicks, then dives on Polo Promotions. Mark hits a drop kick. Coffey in control, slowing down Stevie Boy, grounding him on the mat. Stevie Boy, being RVD, the cuff takes his head off with a clothesline. I think he went to do a split-legged moonsault. I think he did a split-legged moonsault, got a near fall, and then just comes back out and clotheslines him. Mark Coffey, that is. DCT gets in the ring. Wee Man kicks him between the legs. Coach then takes out Wee Man, and Davey Boy spears Coach. The fight to the back. Back suplex near fall by Coffey. Stevie then super kicks Coffey, hits the 3VD, gets a near fall, hits 2 more kicks, then a flip power driver, which is the Canadian Destroyer, and gets the win. So big win for Stevie Boy in that he beat one half of the World Tag Team, of the ICW Tag Team Champions. They should be World Tag Team Champions now anyway. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the first half of the show, which was a match that was 3 years in the making between Lionheart and one Jackie Polo. Now, this all started when basically Lionheart broke his neck, and it just went on from there basically, and it culminated to this show. This big show. So they stare off face to face to start off the match. To hell with the intro. Fight breaks out between the two. The match starts. Jackie works on the neck, which was basically the story of the match. Jackie in control of Lionheart. Lionheart strikes, however, having little effect. Jackie in total control of Lionheart. Jackie hits a power slam. Lionheart goes for a dropkick. Polo goes outside, slowing the match down. Lionheart dives from the top rope, then the strikes seem to work as him and Polo fight on the ramp. Polo takes a backdrop on the ramp. Lionheart takes it to the ring and is in control, working on Polo, but Polo fights back, whips Lash, and whips Lionheart hard into the corner, now slowing Lionheart down, working on the neck. Like I say, it was the story of the match. When you break a neck like Lionheart, or you do what Lionheart had to go through, and you come back into the ring to fight, it is a target on the neck. You know, wrestlers will go for that. Your opponent will definitely go for that. Polo hits Polo slams, working on the neck and back area. Lionheart tries to get to his feet, but Polo hits another power slam. Polo really in control, using the camel clutch, which definitely will work on the neck, believe you me. Jackie dominating Lionheart. Lionheart hits a low blow on Jackie and mounts a fight back, hits a drop kick, gets a near fall. Polo gets whipped hard in the corner. The clothesline, Lionheart head off. I think he came out and clotheslines Lionheart. Gets whipped hard in the corner, but then bounces back out and just clotheslines Lionheart, almost taking his head off. Polo then hits 3 power slams in a row. His Polo slams. I believe he's trademarked that as well. Polo splash misses Lionheart. Lionheart misses. Lionheart hits a running drop kick, then a super kick, then a rock bottom. Polo kicks out. Lionheart misses the frog splash. Polo rolls him up and gets a near fall. Polo hits 3 more power slams in a row. A shoulder breaker by Polo gets a near fall. Polo working on the neck. Story of the match, like I said. Story on the match. Polo brings a polo stick, decides not to use it, then takes a super kick from Lionheart. Lionheart goes up on top. Jackie meets him and then hits a superplex and then the Poloplex and gets the win. Polo grabs the mic and rubs it in the face of Lionheart, really rubs it in. Fans cheering for Jackie. Lionheart didn't seem to believe it. He had that puzzled look on the face, whether he was either disappointed that he lost the match or disappointed that fans were cheering for him. I think he was more disappointed that he lost the match to Jackie, because he worked his butt off, to get that, to get to that point. But there was also a little bit of him looking round at the fans, thinking, why are you cheering for this clown? Blah blah blah. And it didn't feel like the fans were giving Lionheart sympathy. But a great show first half. I'm going to take a quick break there, guys. I'll be back after this with part 2 and shocking moments, and probably the most shocking moment of the whole entire show. So take a quick time out and I'll be back after this. For new episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast, as well as other great professional wrestling related content, be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters channel on YouTube at www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. You'll get weekly episodes of the podcast and you'll get other great wrestling content as well. Be sure to check it out, subscribe, like, and do all that good stuff. The Wrestling Matters channel, where wrestling matters, on YouTube. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Facebook fan page at www.facebook.com/WM podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW Barramania review show. Hope you're enjoying it so far. And we'll get on to part 2 of the show. Now, part 2 kicked off with the fight that everybody was waiting for, based on what happened at the Square Go in, I believe it was January. There was the night that Chris Renfrew got a one-on-one match with Drew Galloway. He lost, and then Dickie Davis was part of the New Age clique and tried to win the Square Go and everything, only to smear that Chris Renfrew attack. I believe it was Stone Cold Bobby Johnson. That's it. I knew it'd come to be eventually. And then card subject to change, and that's when everybody thought that Dickie was going to lay down for Chris and allow him to win the title, to win the Square Go again, and get his rematch with Drew. Didn't work like that, because Dickie stood up to Chris and managed to eliminate him and get the Square Go briefcase and win the Square Go. So all of that led, and if you saw what happened on Friday night's Fight Club and everything, all of that led up to this match at Barramania. A fight to begin, Dickie taking the fight to Chris, taking control. Chris gets out of the ring, goes up the ramp, gets on his knees, Divers hits a suplex on him, fight on the ramp. Chris takes a backdrop, Chris backdrops Divers. In the crowd, Chris then hits a double axe handle from the ramp and takes the fight to Dickie. Dickie climbs on the guardrail, goes for a double axe handle. Chris hits him with a chair. Chris hits a drop kick from the second rope. Dickie hits a kick from the corner, gets a near fall. Chris counters into a stunner near fall. Dickie hits 2 CM Punk-like knees. Chris counters the third one with a powerbomb slam. Near fall, now brings in a chair and uses it. Divers hits a DDT on the chair, gets a near fall. Divers wearing Chris out with a chair and does a Sabu with the chair, which is basically picking the chair up and just throwing it at him, hitting him in the face. Classic Sabu. Divers brings in barbed wire into play, which I believe was the barbed wire steel chair. Divers counters T-Virus and backdrops Chris into the barbed wire chair. Well, yep, that was a barbed wire chair. Divers gets whipped headfirst into the barbed wire chair. Near fall by Chris. Divers hits a butterfly suplex from the top rope. It's a fight, ladies and gentlemen. You expected that with some wrestling. Lights go out. BT Gunn comes in and kicks Divers. New Age Clique is reborn, somewhat. BT goes up top. Motorbike sounds around the ring. Wolfgang appears around the ring and around the arena. Yep, Wolfgang comes out. Wolfgang and BT Gunn face to face in the ring. BT Gunn does the New Age Clique sign. Wolfgang does the Wolf sign, and then Dickie comes over and does the Wolf sign. Out of respect, but Wolfgang takes the Wolf sign and changes it to the New Age Clique sign and kicks Dickie in the face. Dickie bounces off the ropes. Wolfgang hits a powerbomb and Chris covers him for the win. Wolfgang joins the New Age Clique. Shocking moment. You didn't hear that? Let me hear it again. Let me tell you it again. Wolfgang joins the New Age Clique. A new Age Clique reborns, then triple teams Divers, and then leave the match or so, and then all hell broke loose because apparently there was a lot of people that were crying. There was a lot of people that were walking out in disgust. I don't know. Maybe that's the commentator Billy Kirkwood trying to, amp it up a little bit on a commentary position. But it worked a treat. So it just got interesting in that respects. I mean, Wolfgang joining the New Age Clique after his feud with BT Gunn and that. Blooming heck. So be interested to see how this pans out. The next match was a loser leaves ICW match. Carmella versus Layla Rose. Layla attacks Carmella from the start and takes control. Layla chokes Carmella with her coat. Carmella takes the fight to Layla, but Layla retakes control of on the outside. Pipe bomb Princess in very, very big trouble. Carmella hits a perfect plex near fall, but when she fights back, Layla stops that. It's a back and forth match. Carmella does fight back, hits a DDT and gets a near fall. Layla dominating Carmella, getting quick near falls. Layla brings in a chair and hits Carmella and chokes her with it. Carmella will not die, she keeps getting up. Carmella gets choked out. Carmella is no more in ICW, she loses. Now, Carmella leaves, but obviously they come down to say goodbye. And Liam Thompson comes down to say goodbye to her and pays her respects and said without without Carmella there'd be no women's wrestling in ICW and yada yada yada. Carmella then turns her back on him. Liam hits her with a chair and gives this bracelet ring that they had because they were engaged and walks off. Gives it back to her and just walks off. And Billy Kirkwood's calling him a dickhead and, a disgusting asshole and all that. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him because that was sick. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And apparently, Kaylee Ray was supposed to return to one ICW show and call out somebody. I believe it's this person. But we'll see in due time. That's for another day. Now for the main event, the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew Galloway against Joe Coffey. Feeling out process to start the match with chain wrestling and stuff. Even match so far. Coffey looking to wrestle the big man early on. Galloway looking to slow down Coffey after kicking his head somewhat with a big boot. After Coffey looking to counter a backdrop, it seemed. Size advantage with Galloway, definitely. Hulkbuster Bulldog combo gets a near fall for Coffey. Palm strike, Coffey throws Galloway out in two ways. Clothesline send Galloway into the crowd. A baseball slide, Galloway uses the ring apron. Galloway puts a beat down on him while Coffey's in the middle of the ring apron. It goes the baseball slide, he gets that ring apron cover, pulls out the way, Coffey's like trapped in it and then puts it in and just beats down on him and continues to beat down using a bow and arrow with ring post for extra help. Then match back in the ring, Coffey takes two clotheslines and a big boot, Galloway in total control. Galloway shows power, Coffey gets to near fall, hits a swing, goes for fall. Galloway kicks out, takes a slingshot into the corner, then sticks boots in the face of Coffey. That's Galloway. Back and forth fight, Galloway gets advantage. Coffey spears Galloway, gets a near fall in midair, by the way. I think he jumped off the top rope and then Coffey just flattened him basically. Fists flying, hard hitting fight. Springboard crossbody by Coffey gets a near fall. A big splash gets a near fall by Coffey also. German suplex into the corner by Galloway. Then a running boot gets a near fall. That's a single leg dropkick running boot, single leg dropkick move that he does. Great match. Galloway counter Coffey dive. Coffey goes up top, then dives only to miss and hit the referee and security. Discus clothesline by Coffey. Coffey hits a crossface on Galloway, but ref returns. Galloway gets near fall, then takes a knee. Coffey counters Tombstone hits a crossface. Galloway counters and hits Tombstone. Coffey kicks out. Great world title match. It really was. Both men on top rope. Galloway hits a Sheamus move from the top to get a near fall. Irish curse. It was an Irish curse move. That Irish curse move when he gets him into a rock bottom position but uses a backbreaker instead. Deadlift suplex by Coffey gets a near fall. Then discus clothesline also gets a near fall. Galloway counters backslide, hits future shock and retains the title. Awesome match. Galloway cuts a promo showing respect to Coffey and Coffey back to Galloway. Coffey shakes hands with Galloway and hands the title to him, paying the respects and everything. And also, Galloway explained why he joined TNA as well, but I'll let you watch that if you haven't seen it. Then Big Damo walks out to the ring, attacks Galloway and makes a statement beating down Galloway. Will Damo be the new or the next ICW champion? Apparently he's due a title shot. He's due a shot at the championship. When he will get it, I do not know. But the overall rating for me, I'm going to rate this out of 10. And I'd have to say it was 10 out of 10 for me. Barramania. Absolutely loved it. Great show. Top to bottom. Shocking moments. Great moments also. And yeah, kudos to ICW and kudos to Mark Dallas as well. And 10 out of 10 is the rating. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this very first episode, Wrestling Matters Podcast episode, ICW special. Tune in next week where I will be reviewing the Nottingham show as well. Like I say, if you want to see all this great content, this great wrestling, these great shows that ICW are producing, get yourself on ICW On Demand. £3.75 a month. If you haven't got it, guys, you are truly missing out. And ICW is the place to be. ICW is where it's at. You need to check it out. If you're an adult, that is. If you're under 18, don't do it. But with that being said, ladies and gents, my name is the head Anthony Walker. Be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters podcast. Episode 55 went up yesterday. Episode 56 is next week. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm that H, that E to the A to the D. Peace out.